Modern-day escorts, the prostitute type, cater to a wide range of customers. There's the cheap ones, of course, and then there's the high-end ones. 3,000 euros a night might sound like a lot, but if the present sounds crazy, you haven't heard what the past has to offer. Thank you for joining me. These are the 6 most expensive escorts of all time. She charged 250 talents. This Greek hetera met the young Demetrius Poliorcetes, king of Macedonia, aboard the fleet of Ptolemy I. Even though she was past her prime, she captivated the king, and her sway continued unbroken for many years in spite of fierce competition. Writers of the time made numerous references to her and attributed her hold on Demetrius to her wit and talent. A number of anecdotes concerning her have been preserved by Plutarch and Athenaeus. The excess and magnificence of the banquets she gave to Demetrius are much discussed. However, she is recorded to have used the riches bestowed upon her by building a splendid portico for the citizens of Sicyon, probably at the time when Sicyon was largely rebuilt by Demetrius. The Athenians, in order to please Demetrius, consecrated a temple in honor of Lamia under the title of Aphrodite, and their example was followed by the Thebans. According to Athenaeus, she had a daughter by Demetrius named Phila. She asked for the equivalent of $300,000 for her services to Demetrius Poliorcetes. The monarch agreed to this amount and set a special tax on soap to raise the funds for it. The people had to be clean, so the king could do the dirty. Number 2. Lais. She charged 10,000 drachmas. Demosthenes wanted this courtesan born in Sicilia so bad he was willing to offer 1,000 drachmas for just one night. When she saw him, she asked for 10,000 more. However, she spent some time with Diogenes the Stoic philosopher, as disheveled and slovenly as he was, completely for free. She settled down in Thessaly with her husband Hippostratus. It is said a group of jealous Thessalian women lured her to the temple of Aphrodite and stoned her to death. An ugly way to die for a very beautiful woman. Number 3. Ninon the Langlois. She charged 50,000 crowns. Anna the Langlois, better known as Ninon, was a courtesan and author in France, far better known there than outside, where her name is a synonym for beauty and wit. She became famous in the salons, and her own drawing room became a center for discussion and consumption of literature. During her life, she encouraged Molière and left some money for young Voltaire to buy books with. Ninon had a succession of notable and wealthy lovers, but they did not support her. When she got tired of the present company, she said so frankly and took a new partner. Her opinions on organized religion caused her trouble, getting her imprisoned in a convent in 1656 at the request of Anne of Austria, queen regent for her son Louis XIV. Queen Christina of Sweden requested her freedom. One time, Cardinal Richelieu, French statesman, paid 50,000 crowns to spend just one night with the famous Ninon, the best-known sexologist in 18th century France. She accepted the money and then sent a friend in her place. She died very wealthy at 84 and held the belief that she had no soul to her last moments. Number 4. Laura Belle. She charged £250,000, or the Queen of London whoredom. After climbing her way up the ranks, she became a successful courtesan and entertained rich noblemen and dukes. She often drove in Hyde Park in a gilt carriage carried by 2 beautiful white horses. There's where she met Nepalese Prime Minister Jung Bahadur Rana. He installed her in a luxury house in Wilton Crescent, Belgravia, and showered her with gifts. The stories about Belle charging £250,000 for just one night with Rana might be exaggerated and actually be the sum of all the gifts she received. The sum was underwritten by Lord Canning, Governor General of India. When Rana had to return to Nepal, he gave Belle a diamond ring and a promise to fulfill her every wish as a parting gift. During the Indian Mutiny, Belle wrote to Rana asking him to send troops to assist the British during the Sepoy Mutiny. She enclosed the ring to remind him of his promise. Rana sent his troops. She married Captain August Frederick Thistlethwaite. Belle found religion and became an evangelist. She traded the wild nights for tame tea parties, still for high society. Her husband died shooting himself by accident, since he had the fairly common habit of shooting his revolver in the air to summon his valet. Belle never remarried and died in 1894. Number 5. Countess Virginia Nietzsche Olduini of Castiglione. She charged 1,000,000 francs. Although married, Nietzsche became Napoleon III's mistress. Her husband demanded a marital separation after the affair came to light. She was known as the most beautiful woman of her time, and also known for her flamboyant entrances in elaborate dress at the imperial court. One of her most infamous outfits was a Queen of Hearts costume. George Frederick Watts painted her portrait in 1857. The Countess returned to Italy when her affair with Napoleon was over. 4 years later, the Kingdom of Italy was proclaimed, possibly in part due to her influence on Napoleon. She returned to France and settled in Passy. In 1871, just after the defeat of France in the Franco-Prussian War, she was called to a secret meeting with Otto von Bismarck to explain to him how the German occupation of Paris could be fatal to his interests. Paris was spared Prussian occupation. She was quite extravagant. When the Count of Yarmouth, son of one of the wealthiest men in Britain, offered her 1,000,000 francs for her favors, she gladly accepted. The Count was so energetic, she had to keep rest in bed for a week. And finally, number 6, Kitty Fisher. She ate 1,000 guineas. One of the first examples of a celebrity who is famous just for being famous, Kitty Fisher was a good example of the power of media, even in the 18th century. She had many affairs with men of wealth. Supposedly, when the Duke of York offered her £50 for a night, half her usual rate, she kicked him out of her bed, had either a cake or a sandwich made with the note, and ate it. Giacomo Casanova seems to at least have heard the tale as well. A quote from one of his letters. The illustrious Kitty Fisher, who was just beginning to be fashionable. She was magnificently dressed, and it is no exaggeration to say that she had diamonds on worth 500,000 francs. Goudard told me that if I liked, I might have her then and there for 10 guineas. I did not care to do so, however, for, though charming, she could only speak English, and I liked to have all my senses, including that of hearing, gratified. When she had gone, Mrs. Wells told us that Kitty had eaten a banknote for 1,000 guineas on a slice of bread and butter that very day. The note was a present for Sir Ackins, brother of the fair Mrs. Pitt. I do not know whether the bank thanked Kitty for the present she had made it. Perhaps this tale is just a tale, and perhaps Casanova only wanted to tie his name to hers for publicity. Kitty lived in absolute splendor and even had uniformed servants. She married John Norris, son of Admiral Sir John Norris, and settled into the role of his mistress, building the family fortune and enjoying the company of the local folks who liked her for her generosity with the poor. Unfortunately, she died only 4 months after her marriage. The cause isn't disclosed. Some say she died due to the use of lead-based cosmetics, and others think she died from smallpox or tuberculosis. She was buried in Benenden churchyard, dressed in her best ball gown. As usual, I would like to thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed the content, you can help the channel grow by giving it a like, and if you want to participate in giveaways, you can subscribe and comment. I'll see you later.